Since they first appeared on screen in 2002, the Clone Troopers have been massive fan favorites. Okay, well technically we could go even further back to 1977 when Alec Guinness mentioned the Clone Wars, but I haven't even started the video and I'm already getting sidetracked. Anyway, from Captain Fordo and the Alpha arcs to the Filoni era, which included people like Captain Rex, Commander Cody, and Wolffe, to even Mayday with Bad Batch, it's time to look at every Clone Trooper ever in Star Wars.
The mission. Nightmares. They're just getting started.
And I'll be including stuff from canon and legends because unlike the IGN videos, I'm vaguely doing this in the style of, I actually am a supporter of the EU myself. First up is Alpha 17, better known as simply Alpha, who is one of the Alpha class ARC troopers and a close ally to Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker. He fought in many battles like Kamino and Jabim, and was even captured and tortured by Asajj Ventress at one point during the war. He was originally intended to be the prime clone character of the Clone Wars from 2008, but this was called off by George Lucas, who thought there would be too much alliteration between Anakin, R2, Ahsoka, and Alpha.
It's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
So instead, Rex was made. Speaking of which, Captain Rex was a clone who served as the court-martial of the 501st Legion. He was not only highly regarded by Anakin, but also was brave and creative in his war strategies like him too. Rex was known to care deeply for his men and make up his own mind in battle. By the Siege of Mandalore in 19 BBY, Rex would be promoted to commander, and he also had unique armor as he was the only clone to weld Phase 1 and 2 armor for his helmet. Now switching back to legends, Captain Fordo was featured in the 2003 Clone Wars micro-series and was a leader of a legendary squad known as the Munilist 10, who was very vital to the Battle of Munilist, in which they destroyed an enemy artillery emplacement and helped capture important separatist leader Sam Hill along with Obi-Wan Kenobi. He also fought against Grievous at Hippori and famously held back multiple super battle droids by himself during the Battle of Coruscant at Sector 4.
Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me!
Commander Cody was the martial commander of the 7th Sky Corps, which included the famous 212th Legion, and was well known for being very brave and loyal during his missions. Cody would, during the outbreak of Order 66, command his troops to open fire on their Jedi General Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Juan Cannon would later defect months later after becoming wary of the Empire's goals, and Legends would actually train stormtroopers on Kamino until a battle with a clone of Starkiller, leading the Alliance fleet, in which Vader would be captured by the Rebellion. Next up we have Wolffe, who was under the revered Jedi Plo Koon, and after his Wolf Pack, as they were called, was killed during a run-in with the Malevolence, General Grievous's new superweapon ship at the time, he would honor the fallen clones by giving the 104th Wolf Pack squad their own customized armor. He would also have a unique cybernetic eye after Asajj Ventress slashed him with her lightsaber during the Battle of Korm. After the Clone Wars, Wolffe would allow Rex to escape on Teth after ordering his clones to stand down while chasing after him. Clone 99 was disabled during the cloning process, thus assigned to maintenance duty on Kamino. Rather than serving as a soldier, he would know many of the clone cadets of the facility on Tipoca City, including Domino Squad, who he'd later give his life fighting alongside during the invasion of Kamino. Another member of Domino Squadron to talk about, because yes, let's be honest, 99 should definitely count as being part of the squad, is Fives, who was, at least until proved otherwise, the longest living of the group. He trained on Kamino as a cadet, helped to defend Rishi Outpost from being overrun, and fought at the battles of Kamino and Lolo Seyu, and even uncovered the inhibitor chips associated with Order 66 before being shot dead by Commander Fox on Coruscant when Fives posed a possible threat to the Chancellor. Echo, on the other hand, or Eco, as Omega would say, other than his distinctive blue handprint on his chest plate given to him by Rex after killing a Rishi moon eel, and also how he died at the Citadel airfield on Lolo Seyu after a commando droid blew up the shuttle he was trying to defend, only for him to later be discovered on Skako Minor by Rex, Anakin Skywalker, and the Bad Batch in a damaged form, leading to him eventually joining the Clone Force 99, who we'll talk about more later. Heavy was a clone in Domino Squad who was inspired by 99 in his last days as a cadet, and would also die on the Rishi Outpost station wielding a Z6 rotary blaster cannon, so I wonder where he got his name from. And incinerating the building, allowing for the OK signal of the station to turn off, alerting the Republic of what was going on there. Our next clone is the commander of the 327th Clone Battalion under Aayla Secura, Commander Bly, who had distinctive yellow armor and a professional personality, believing in not letting personal feelings get in the way of things. As such, even though he had a close relationship with Aayla Secura, he still killed her with no hesitation during Order 66. Neo was another commander from Revenge of the Sith who led the 91st Mobile Recon Corps and had 4 symbols of the 91st Legion on his body, as well as a command sash and a BARC trooper style helmet similar to Wolffe and Fordo. He also served in the 5-month campaign on Seleucami and killed Jedi Master Stas Ali during Order 66. Now the Clone Marines are pretty infamous in the Star Wars community for how sick they are, but Commander Bakara was probably the most brutal of the division because, well, one, he was in charge, but also survived a 3-year-long campaign on Maigito with Ki-Adi Mundi, and in the Republic Commando Order 66 novel states that he felt betrayed by Mundi, but willing to kill him for all the clones who had died under his orders if he was in fact working with the Separatists. On Kashyyyk during Order 66 was Commander Gree, who led the 41st Elite Corps and served under Luminara Unduli. He was famous for having a trash haircut and hilariously failing to commit Order 66 on Yoda, who beheaded him and his buddy with no room for error. Now our next Revenge of the Sith commander is actually someone from Legends rather than canon, who is known as Commander Fei and almost appeared in the film during a sequence on Kashyyyk where they would shoot a Juggernaut cannon at Yoda up in the big tree, but was cut and reused for Neo. He would be expanded upon in Legends and canon, with him getting killed by Quinlan Vos after starting to destroy a Wookiee village on Kashyyyk right after ordering a hunt for Quinlan and Yoda, and also had a very unique appearance with a white cloak and smaller eyepieces. He also killed Luminara Unduli in Legends. Commander Keller was another Legends clone who also wore a cloak and attempted to kill the Jedi on Tula during Order 66. Also, Law was a purple clone trooper from the Legends novel The Clone Wars Defenders of the Lost Temple, who was friends with the clone Glitch and helped the Jedi Bink, Utrilla, and her Padawan Renax Omani on a mission to locate a Sith artifact before Dooku could. Now a common debate among Clone Wars fans is, which is better, the 501st or the 212th? Well, how about we look at the best from each. First up, Oppo was with an arrow-shaped decoration on his helmet during the Battle of Umbara, which he served in, and also was retconned in canon into being the clone who orders Bail Organa to leave the temple during Operation Nightfall in the film. Next up, Denal was a clone who was killed by Cad Bane at the Battle of Deveron before I could take his armor and use it to escape.
And they be terrible just like a 2-year-old. Go ahead, say it then. Who to go? Who to go?
Dogma was another one who was prone to following orders and was manipulated by the traitorous Pong Krell until he ended up killing him to prevent the Jedi from revealing Republic military secrets. Hardcase also served at Umbara and sacrificed himself after him, Fives, and Jesse stole some Umbaran ships and used them to get onto the Separatist supply ship, where Hardcase would then explode one by shoving one of his starfighters' wing-mounted missile pods into the ship's interior, causing a reaction. Tup, on the other hand, was important in capturing Pong Krell at Umbara, where he was just a rookie there, and would unfortunately at the Battle of Ringo Vinda have his inhibitor chip activate early and end up killing Master Tiplar before being taken into custody. He was briefly captured by Separatists, but would then be taken to Kamino, where, remember how I mentioned Fives discovering Order 66 earlier? Well, this is where he would find it out with the help of medical droid AZI-3, which they thought was a tumor but turned out to be an inhibitor chip, which would lead to Tup dying after its removal. Next up is Kix, who was actually the longest living clone trooper, as after he witnessed Tup's execution of Master Tiplar, he would conduct his own research, leading to him being captured and frozen by the Separatists until 50 years later, Sidon Ithano would find him and allow him to join the pirates crew of the Crimson Corsair, which is all the way in the sequel era to put into perspective how long this this guy survived for. Lastly, for the 501st is Jesse, who not only had a large Republic tattoo on his head, but also served in battles as early as Seleucami, even helping Rex out after being wounded by a sniper one time. He would later become an ARC trooper and would attempt to defeat Ahsoka and Commander Rex after their mutiny aboard the Tribunal Venator Star Destroyer following Order 66. Waxer and Boyle are our first subjects to look at for the 212th, other than Cody from earlier, of course, who both were on Ryloth during the battle and befriended the Twi'lek girl Numa, whom they looked after until the town was retaken by Republic forces. Numa would later wear a piece of armor with the name Boyle and Orabesh on it during the Age of the Empire, and to help identify who is who, Waxer is the bald one, while Boyle is the one with hair and a mustache. Also, Waxer died on Umbara during the friendly fire incident with a tear streaming down his face. Boyle, however, would in fact survive, at least until the Battle of Kyros, where we see him talk to General Kenobi, which is the Zygerian slave arc, in case you forgot. However, it is unclear as to his fate after this point. Gearshift was a 212th clone who served at the Second Battle of Geonosis and was killed by an undead Geonosian while alone with his comrade in the catacombs. Moving on though, a clone with one of the most unique paint jobs out there is Ingol, who had a lime green coloration and served under Obi-Wan Kenobi. He would crash land his Y-Wing bomber in the Negotiator Hangar Bay after the armada of General Grievous would attack, but would be saved by General Kenobi from the wreckage of the ship that killed his gunner named Killer. 09er was the sergeant of the Domino Squad clones on the Rishi Outpost Station, who served at the Battle of Geonosis, had a serious attitude, and was killed by commando droids when they invaded the base in 21 BBY. Now for the Bad Batch, as I mentioned earlier, first up we got Tech, who was the brains of the group and great at calculating probabilities, as well as providing gadgets and excellent strategies for the group. As the name suggests, he was very skilled with tech, but also could be very wise and close with his other squad mates. Spoilers, he would unfortunately die while on Grand Moff Tarkin's homeworld of Iradu, where he would fall to his death along with a damaged rail car. Hunter was the leader of the group and a proficient tracker as well. He also developed a deep bond with Omega, the female clone child, who he had decided to escape with in Kamino with the Batch. Hunter also fought to Ventress and was respected by Captain Rex and Commander Cody as well. If Tech was the brains of the group, that would make Wrecker the brawn, who was 6 feet and 6 inches tall and was larger and stronger than the average clone, also serving as the demolitions expert of the group. His inhibitor chip would later be activated while on Braca, leading to him almost killing his squad mates. Also in Clone Force 99 is Crosshair, who is not only a sniper, but also the only member who decided to stay with the Empire rather than defecting, and actually helped them hunt down the Bad Batch until later on he would be on a mission to the planet Barton 4, where a clone he was helping named Mayday, who I'll talk about in a second, would die after the lieutenant there made a point to show the clones as replaceable, leading to Crosshair finally understanding the evil of the Empire. He would be tested on at Mount Tantus and would help Omega to escape there when she was captured as well. Captain Hauser was a clone captain stationed on Ryloth, where he maintained the peace on said planet, and he would defy the Empire by standing up to Crosshair's troops after a Twi'lek uprising, causing 6 other troops to join him until they would all be arrested. He would later be freed from his captivity on the factory planet Balmora and would join the clone underground based on Teth. Commander Wilco, however, was stationed on Sereno and attempted to capture the Bad Batch when they were attempting to steal war chests for Sid Scaleback. When he would make his mission report to Admiral Ramparts, Ramparts would order him to erase Clone Force 99's involvement in the incident. After refusing to lie, Admiral Ramparts would blast Captain Wilco, killing him. The clone we talked about earlier, who accompanied Crosshair on Barton 4, was the clone commander Mayday, who would help Crosshair look for stolen Imperial supplies by nearby bandits on the planet. After Mayday was injured in an avalanche, however, Crosshair would help him back to the outpost until the commander was denied medical support by Lieutenant Nolan, leading to his death. The frigid conditions of Barton 4 led to his armor being supplemented by various fabrics, leading to a unique appearance. Next up is Fireball. This was a clone who often used a flamethrower and helped rescue Hauser off of his imprisonment, and would also die in a fireball while defending the clone underground base in the Teth Monastery. He had phase 2 clone armor, which was dyed a shade of dark green. Now you probably remember seeing a purple clone trooper at some point during the Bad Batch Season 3, that's because this guy named Samson is just that. He was another member of the Clone Underground that tragically died at the Teth Monastery. Now according to Wikipedia, his armor was technically indigo, which is arguably even cooler, and it is noted that Wolffe actually ordered the bodies of the deceased clones at Teth, including Samson, to be recovered, so there's another Commander Wolffe W for you. He may or may not be my favorite clone trooper, not that that matters. Oh yeah, by the way, put in the comments who your favorite clone is out of all of these, or if it's someone I didn't mention. Now for a few clone pilots, first up we have Axe, who served within Blue Squadron under Anakin Skywalker, and unfortunately met his end due to some poor leadership skills of Ahsoka when during the Battle of Ryloth, on the return to the Venator, named the Resolute, his engines would fail and he would then be shot down by 3 Vulture droids while piloting his V-19 Torrent starfighter. Next up is Matchstick, who was part of Shadow Squadron and flew alongside Anakin, Ahsoka, and Plo Koon during the defense of the Kaleida Shoals Medical Center against the Malevolence. But when his left stabilizer was damaged by a Nibre Manta on the flight there, after Skywalker suggested that shortcut as it was an old smuggler's route, the stabilizer would give out during the battle, causing him to spin and collide into Tag, a fellow clone pilot, which would blow them both up.
What's up, it's Star Wars Oddball, here to introduce the legendary clone pilot Commander Oddball, CC-2237. Oddball was flight commander of the famed Clone Flight Squad 7, which served alongside the 212th Attack Battalion throughout the Clone Wars. Following the first battle of Geonosis, Oddball was sent to a flight academy on Coruscant, where he received extensive training in aerial combat. Flight Squad 7's first mission was under the command of Jedi General Obi-Wan Kenobi, where they supported Republic forces by flying V-19 Torrens. During the Battle of Teth, the young clone commander was nearly taken out by Vulture droids before his Jedi wingman saved him. Oddball would then find himself flying a BTLB Y-Wing bomber during the Battle of Umbara, where he aided 501st forces that had been pinned down by Umbaran militia. Clone Flight Squad 7 would even fly wingman to the famed Jedi pilot Plo Koon during the Battle of Cato Neimoidia. Eventually returning to the Republic capital of Coruscant, Oddball and his squadron would assist Obi-Wan and Anakin in breaking the defenses of the Invisible Hand in order to rescue the Chancellor. Finally, Commander Oddball would fly air support for the 212th Attack Battalion as they routed out General Grievous and the CIS forces on Utapau, later turning on the Utapau Sky Force having received Order 66. Oddball and Flight Squad 7 would eventually assist in a hunt for the traitor Jedi Kenobi after his body was never found by 212th Clone Infantry. Flight Squad 7 and their commander Oddball would transition into the Imperial Navy following the fall of the Republic. Oddball is in my opinion the best clone pilot out there, but maybe I'm biased. Back to you, Blue.
And Warthog was a clone pilot serving in the 104th Battalion, who went to the first Battle of Felucia, was chased by multiple Vulture droids, but would be saved by Plo Koon and his starfighter. Oh, and thank you to Star Wars Oddball for the segment on Oddball. Definitely check out his channel, really underrated guy. He has a lot of followers on TikTok actually, a lot more than me, that's for sure, so check him out there also. Now for some clone commandos, we first up have Delta Squad, who is comprised of Boss, the leader of the gang with orange markings, and served at Geonosis, Maigito, Coruscant, the Persecutor Star Destroyer, and Kashyyyk, as well as Fixer, who had green armor and was the slicer and brains of the group, also the most boring too if you ask me, and if anything more of a second in command. Sev was the sniper with red markings, a gravelly voice, and was the one squad member to be left behind during the mission on Kashyyyk during the final days of the Clone Wars. Scorch was the demolitions expert, who wore yellow and black armor and also had a witty sense of humor. I must admit he was always coming in clutch the most out of everyone. Whenever I would play Republic Commando, Delta Squad is better than Bad Batch.
Good.
While the last 4 guys are technically canon, let's be honest, they aren't really, considering all they do in canon is stand around. I mean, Bad Batch low-key ruined Scorch, gonna be honest. Anyway, Gregor is an interesting clone commando who developed amnesia after the Battle of Serish. His shuttle crashed on Abathar, the Void Planet, where he would be discovered by Colonel Meeber Gascon and D-Squad and would later help them escape. Later he would survive and live with Rex and Wolffe, retired on the planet Selos before he would fight for the Rebel Alliance and die on Lothal in 1 BBY. So just a quick break from the video because I did want to mention we do actually have a new merch drop. I don't know, I think it looks really clean. We updated the design, so we got this nice hat. Here is what it looks like, just to see, right? Commander Blackouts was a special ops clone commander who, alongside the clone named Sparks, would destroy the flagship of Admiral Trench during the Battle of Christophsis. Blitz was an ARC trooper of Rancor Battalion who had a unique helmet pattern, yellow markings, and would order some ARF troopers to shoot a missile launcher at enemy ships on Camino. Next up, Chopper. No, not that Chopper, but Chopper from Season 1 of the Clone Wars was a brother who collected Battledroid fingers, much to the disgust of his fellow clones, and was a suspected traitor for a plot with Ventress, which turned out to be Slick instead. Now Colt, on the other hand, was an ARC commander who led Rancor Battalion and was killed by Ventress after being force choked, stabbed with a lightsaber, and then finished off with a kiss to the cheek. Comet was another 104th boy who helped rescue Anakin and Mace Windu on Vancor, and also served at the Battle of Kadavo, in which he utilized a jetpack. Cutlaw Quain was a clone deserter who lived on Seleucami and helped nurse an injured Rex back to full health, and also showed Rex a different outlook on the war, accompanied by his wife, Sue La Quain, and their children Jack and Shia. Commander Doom was the clone serving under Generals Tipley and Tiplar during the Battle of Ringo Vinda, who had unique green, gray, and yellow armor and was inspired by the Marvel character Doctor Doom. His clone squad, known as Doom's Unit, used M3 Bulwark blast shields during this battle. Time for everyone's favorite clone though, with Commander Fox.
Kill him. Kill him now.
No, but seriously, this man was commander of the Coruscant Guard and was very trusted by the Chancellor as he participated during the arresting of Zero the Hutt and also the elimination of Clone Trooper 5s. He was killed by Vader in canon after the shock troopers under him accidentally fired on Vader, mistaking him for a Jedi rather than a Sith. Perhaps Anakin still had a grudge though from the death of 5s. Commander Phil was featured in one of the best Clone Wars episodes of the entire show's run, titled Lair of Grievous, and was appointed to serve under the newly made Jedi Knight Nadar Veb, who was the former Padawan of Kit Fisto, but would die on Vasek 3 by General Grievous's pet Rogwart named Gore. Commander Hound was an ARF scout trooper sergeant who relied on his tamed Massif Grizzer to help hunt down Ahsoka Tano on Coruscant. Jek was one of the clones accompanying Yoda on the planet Rugosa in 22 BBY against many battle droids. Thyre was another one of the shock troopers there who was injured but managed to survive with the help of Master Yoda. Commander Jet served at the Second Battle of Geonosis under Ki Adi-Mundi and led a battalion of flame troopers and special ops clones into the heart of the Geonosian defense. Proving his strong leadership skills and survival instincts, he had unique Geonosian special ops armor similar to what Waxer and Boyle would both wear here. Captain Keeley served on Ryloth alongside Jedi General Amagundi, who would hold off droid forces until supplies arrived for the people of the planet and would die for the cause, proving to be very enduring as he got back up after being shot more than once. Speaking of resilience though, next up is Commander Thorn, who is basically the wholesome version of Fox, as he had similar red armor, but also died defending against waves of battle droids on all sides at Scipio, where he was shot many times through the chest before collapsing at last. Commander Monk was a clone scuba trooper who also served as Red Leader at the Battle of Mon Cala and was under Kit Fisto's leadership in and out of water. Pons served under Mace Windu in the 187th Legion and during the Battle of Ryloth with twin DC-17 pistols like Captain Rex. A cool fun fact is that at the Battle of Geonosis, he informs Mace that there are 5 special commando units at the ready, putting the clone commandos in the actual Lucas canon 6 films. Commander Trauma was an ARF commander under Jedi Halsey and was unfortunately obliterated by the shining blade of Savage Opress on Deveron. Commander Vaughn was the leader of Ahsoka's 332nd Legion, who had custom armor designed by Rex for the honor of Ahsoka, and he would die at the sewers of Mandalore. Captain Locke was a clone captain serving under Eth Koth with light green markings that was asked by his Jedi General to leave for Eth. Our last clone of the day, though, is Hilo. Okay, kinda sucks, I just don't know how to pronounce this guy's name as he is the last one. Who I wanted to mention today was this guy, as he is a clone commando who is with Wolffe on Teth in the Bad Batch, and actually seemed pretty chill with the commander, letting them go, that being Rex and other clones, leading me to believe that there's still hope in clones like this that are actually morally intelligent. But anyway, that's it for this video. You can subscribe if you want to. Also, consider checking out the merch, because I do think it looks pretty clean, especially on me, of course. But hey, it might look good on you too. You never know. Yeah, I upload videos every week, always on Friday, and I also post 2 shorts on the weekends as well. But yeah. See ya.